A gang hunting for revenge. A cottage burned. A woman scarred. Joe thought he left his past behind. But now the only way to protect the woman he loves is to confront the darkness he ran from. Endless Waterfall blends rural romance with gritty suspense that will leave you breathless. The novel by J. Pilgrim, Endless Waterfall, Chapter 15. The last door. Woburn was quiet. Too quiet. The air was still, the sky low with cloud. A few street lamps flickered gold on the pavement as Joe moved down the cul-de-sac, one shadow among others. The street was full of clean lawns, polished SUVs, and houses with alarm systems stickered on their windows. Den Morrison's fortress sat at the end. Brick, black gates, no lights on. But Joe knew he was home. He always kept the dark when he wanted to feel in control. Joe's body ached. Ribs bruised from Bruiser's elbow, a bruise along his forearm from the fight with Benny, knuckles sore beneath the gloves. He hadn't changed clothing, hadn't stopped. Just kept moving. Because he wasn't leaving the hut until Den Morrison was gone. The rear garden gate was closed but easily opened. Joe slipped through, silent. He knew the layout, knew the camera's blind spots. He crouched by the glass sliding door at the back and used the flat end of his crowbar to pop the lock. Quiet, efficient, like a memory. Like he was stepping into the past. Joe removed the second Glock pistol from the duffel bag and loaded the clip into it. Inside was still. The air smelled of aftershave and silence. Then a voice, low, calm, in the dark. "You've made quite a mess of my operations, Joe." Den turned on a lamp. Standing at the far end of the open lounge, shirt crisp, sleeves rolled, pistol in hand, cocked but not raised. A glass of whiskey on the side table. The glow from the lamp caught his face. Clean-shaven, slick hair, not a drop of perspiration on him. Joe stepped forward slowly. The Glock was at the ready by his side. "It ends here," Joe said flatly. Den's lip curled. "You've killed 3 of my crew, burned my safe house. And now you're standing in my living room like some kind of martyr?" 4, actually, but who's counting? Joe corrected him. "Just like you weren't counting on conducting business in a civilized manner, or that I would come back for you." Den's expression changed. "You've been with me long enough to know what happens to those who betray the code. You set fire to my life," Joe snapped. "You burned a girl, a family. You crossed the line, Den." Den gave a breathy laugh. "I made you. You'd be nothing without me." "No," Joe said. "I was nothing because of you." Den's expression hardened. "I gave you power. I gave you respect. You could have had this whole city at your feet." "I wanted a life," Joe replied. "Not a leash." Den's smile faltered. "You betrayed me." "No," Joe said quietly. "You lost me." Den raised his pistol. Too slow. Joe fired first. The bullet slammed into Den's shoulder. He spun, knocked into the side table, spilling the glass of whiskey, and roared in pain. His pistol clattered across the floor. Joe moved in. Den lunged with his good arm, grabbed a baseball bat hidden behind the couch, and swung it hard, catching Joe across the side, causing him to lose his weapon and footing. Before Den could raise the bat again, Joe grunted, rolled, and kicked Den's legs out. They fell together, grappling in a mess of blood and fury. Den got a hand around Joe's throat. "You're nothing without me," he hissed, squeezing. Joe reached out across the floor, his fingers finally clasping around the Glock. A shot went off into Den's ribs. Den gasped. Eyes wide, mouth slack. Joe held him there. "Wrong," Joe whispered. "I'm finally free." He shoved Den off. The kingpin collapsed in a heap on the carpet, blood spreading like ink. In the distance, short bursts of a police siren closing in. Joe stood over Den's dying body. Joe's chest heaved. The adrenaline was fading, replaced by something emptier. Not relief. Not rage. Just done. He pocketed the Glock and turned. Intending to leave no trace of his being there, he exited out the back door he'd come through, picking up the duffel bag on the way. No rush, no panic. He slipped into the hedge line just as red and blue lights cut through the quiet. When the police car came to a halt outside Den's house, Joe was already gone. Just another shadow folding back into the night. Previously, constables at the warehouse. Detective Constable Raleigh pulled the cruiser up hard onto the concrete pad in front of the warehouse, headlights swinging across stacks of pallets and a pair of overturned crates. The building loomed like a corpse in the dark. Ugly, silent, indifferent. Riley was dressed in standard police uniform, hair tied back in a low knot. Her sharp eyes scanned the yard, instantly alert, trained. Beside her, Constable Patel opened his car door and got out. He looked shaken. He wore the standard stab vest, and his hands fumbled slightly with the police-issue gloves. Then they saw the slumped figure outside the building. A body, then another. They hadn't expected to stumble onto a murder scene. Just another routine drive-by, following a gut feeling that trouble was brewing among Den's gang associates in this part of the valley. Patel exhaled sharply. That's definitely Bruiser. Riley knelt beside the closest body, shining her flashlight across the concrete. Bruiser's face was bruised, swollen, and his nose was clearly broken. Blood crusted around a knife wound that had finished leaching blood. A pistol in his hand, hanging loosely from 2 fingers. Patel moved to the second body, his voice quieter now. This one's Benny, no question. He has a knife in his hand. Possible scuffle between these two? You know this gang punishes those who don't do as they are told. Riley looked around. Or this is Joe Taylor's work. If it is, then this is an escalation. This isn't just intimidation. This is execution, she stated. Patel nodded. We won't jump to conclusions just yet. Not officially, anyway. The warehouse loomed around them. Air thick, the metal walls echoing every bootstep, every breath. Constable Patel shone his flashlight through the side door. The beam sliced through stale air, dancing off dust motes and empty crates. The scent hit first. Old oil, rust, and something faintly chemical. Riley was right behind him, hand resting lightly on her baton. The door creaked as Patel pushed it open with a gloved hand. Inside, the warehouse was dim, lit only by moonlight filtering through high grime-slicked windows. The vast interior stretched ahead. Stacks of wooden pallets, cardboard boxes, and tire marks from the delivery vans that used to idle here at all hours. Patel and Riley stepped in, eyes sharp, alert. Riley looked calm on the surface, but Patel could feel the energy coiled beneath. Looks like they cleared out fast, Patel said, sweeping the torch slowly. Or maybe this was already cold before tonight. The torchlight revealed more. A folding table lay near the loading dock, its plastic surface warped by something that looked like heat. A few water bottles. A single dusty folding chair tipped sideways. Everything felt abandoned, but not forgotten. Like someone had pressed pause. They reached Den's command post. The door was metal reinforced, painted matte black, and locked tight with a biometric keypad installed awkwardly over where a deadbolt used to be. Riley stepped back, frowning. Den's still operating from here. Patel tried the handle. Nothing. No signs of struggle in here, he said. Riley turned to her partner. Yeah. All of the action happened outside, like the assailant waited for Bruiser to exit the building. Patel wiped perspiration from his brow. He wasn't used to the quiet being this heavy. At the moment, we just have an internal gang struggle going on based on the weapons and their placement. Riley nodded. It's not over. You think Den knows he's next? Oh, she said quietly. He knows. He's probably locked himself in his house, loaded gun, staring at the security feed. They both turned toward the door. Back in the patrol car. They'd called it in, secured the scene. Backups were on their way. But Riley and Patel lingered in the car, drinking silence like strong coffee. Patel tapped his pen nervously against the dashboard. If this keeps going, we're going to find Den dead by sunrise. Riley didn't respond right away. She stared out the window, jaw set. Finally, she said, maybe, or maybe we find Den first and stop this. Patel glanced over. You want to protect Den Morrison now? Riley's eyes narrowed. No, but I don't want Joe Taylor to become what Den made him. Patel spoke. Joe's making a statement. That's what this is. Riley nodded and agreed. He's taking them out by hand. One by one. Patel looked around and summed up the matter. Like he said earlier, this isn't just intimidation anymore. This is execution. Riley looked at Patel. I think Joe gave the system a chance. We failed him. The Crown failed him. So now he's answering the only way they understand. Patel looked at the corpses, still cold on the concrete. He's good. Too good. No prints. No cams. No witnesses. Riley didn't look away. He's not just cleaning up. He's burying his past. Completely. She took a sip of her lukewarm coffee, her expression drained. Once backup gets here, we will check Den's house next, she said. Patel blinked. You think he's there already? She didn't answer right away. Just stared into the alley, eyes cold and calculating. If he's not, he soon will be. Across the hut, 15 minutes away, their siren would soon scream toward Woburn. And inside Den Morrison's fortress, Joe Taylor was already closing the last door, leaving behind a dead man who'd made monsters. Joe Taylor wasn't a victim, and he wasn't just a man with blood on his hands. He was someone who tore down the empire that once claimed him, and left the woman he loved scarred in its shadow. Hi. Stay updated on J. Pilgrim's releases by following him on this channel. Join a community of fiction lovers who are inspired, entertained, and transformed by the works of J. Pilgrim. Like, subscribe, and share this series. See you in the next episode.